literally just passed off to us, Glenn. Breaking news in the CFL. Unfortunate news out of Edmonton. The passing of their owner, Larry Thompson.
Yeah, just before, like literally a minute ago, I got the exact same text sent to me. This is very sad. The thing about Larry and his taking over the team, buying the team, going from a privately owned or going to a privately owned team rather than a publicly owned team. He's been a lifelong fan of the game, like just of our game, of the Canadian Football League. And it's just really sad news. And again, it's so new that, and I think I'm okay to not completely trust what happens on the phone, but if it's true, it's devastating. And I'm thinking about their family now.
It just seems like yesterday that we announced that he bought
the team. Yeah. Very sad day. For his family and the league, because he was taking on that team and making changes and they were turning the corner. So
a season ticket holder with his family his entire life. I mean, from the time he was a kid. So it was an owner with the sincere love of the game and of that city and the whole thing. So we'll see. We'll update as we go. So
sad news. Unfortunate there. Glenn, I know you texted me earlier and I didn't ask any questions and I said let's just talk about it on the Sports Cage. Let's give the people what they want. You had a chance to talk to Nathan Rourke. Take us through that conversation.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of stakeholders across the country, not just the games I'm doing this weekend, and Nathan was the first one because I am doing the Lions game. And, we spent half of our Zoom call talking about these rule changes. And let me just say off the top of what an articulate, passionate Canadian that Nathan really is. And yes, had it worked out for him in the NFL, he would have gone and made life-changing money and is still definitely, could be playing in that league by ability. But so would I. If ABC Sports called me and said, I'm going to give you Tony Romo money, I would say, guys, I got to go. Sorry.
It's been fun.
It's been fun. I'm sorry. I'm on my way to do 18 games a year and make $39 million or whatever the heck they're making down there. So, what we talked about was the concerns that he has. And let me go through three of them because I think they're legit. And I stand by what I said on Tuesday, which was I was proud of him for doing it. I'm glad to see him and fans be passionate about the game. And here's the concerns. Number one is, and again, I'm paraphrasing here, not quoting him, so let's keep that in mind. But number one is that by changing the rules, Stuart Johnson has implied that that's the issue, that with the business side of the game. And yes, we all know we need to improve the business side. We need to have more fans. We need to have better ratings, all of those things. But the concern for Nathan is making rule changes implies that the game is the reason that the business is struggling, whereas the game is fantastic, and there is other things that you could go 10 shows on in opinions on how to improve the business side. So that was one of his concerns, and I think it's legit. The other was the speculation. It was is this the first step to much more aggressive steps and turning our league into American, the U.S. rules, 4 downs, 11 players. And you guys, you've been talking about this for 3-4 days now. You know that a lot of the concern here from everybody that's concerned, and I'm one of them, that this could turn into more severe rule changes like 4 downs. So that was the second one, and I think the third one is also totally legit, is that he felt that, forget about who the commissioner consulted with, because he consulted with people, that know the game, and, he would have definitely done that. He's a smart guy. But he said, whenever we go to change a rule, whether it's a player safety issue or it's a penalty or something like that, it goes through the rules committee. And there's a reason for that. There's a process to it. So it goes to the rules committee. The rules committee debates it for a long period of time. And then that rules committee advises the board on what their recommendations would be. And then the board then votes on any of the changes that might come up through the rules committee. So he said, one of the concerns, again, I'm paraphrasing here, but one of his concerns were, why wasn't that process part of it? That if we're changing rules in other areas of the game, including player safety, there's a process that goes through the rules committee, and it looks like that well, it wasn't part of this process for these rule changes. So, those were his three concerns, and to be honest, I think they're all legit. And again, I am really happy with people that are passionate about protecting the differences, the uniqueness of Canadian football, and he was the leading in that regard.
I'm not going to disagree with those 3 points, but what he said on Monday wasn't those 3 points. That's why I think he put himself in a bad spot by being so gregarious with his points.
Good word.
Good big. I'm using big words today, right?
Yeah, I just wrote it down.
But he had this big statement, but this is more refined. Right? This is more defined in terms of what he wants to have happen. I don't disagree with the rules committee. I'm not worried about the Americanization, because all he's got to do is go to a high school football game in BC and they play 4-down football. So it already exists in BC, right?
Yeah.
So there's other changes here that they made that I think are really, really good. The biggest one for me is making the stadiums the same and making the officials the same every game. Those two for me are home run hits.
Yeah, and I think with regards to how he said it a couple of days ago, I think I didn't ask him about that, Sharky, and I should have, but the how he said it, if you think about the way that the world works now and the social media bites and how when that quote is out there and all of a sudden, bam, everybody's talking about that particular thing and it goes viral. He's a smart guy and he's a savvy guy, and I didn't ask him, but my guess would be there was a little bit of a plan behind that. There was I want people's attention here. This is a guy who just beat Russ Jackson's single game passing yards record for a Canadian quarterback. And there's a real patriotic side to him wanting to speak up the way he did, and I admire that. I really do.
I still don't agree with it, and I'm like,
with what he said or the rule?
No, how he did it that day, 24-hour rule, like parents, hockey teams or sporting events. Secondly, hold the paranoia train.
Yeah.
Like, really go into why. Maybe find out why they did it. Who was involved? What is the end goal? Let's look at that instead of just flying off the handle. I think nobody is trying. Okay, here I go again. And I'm like, the Americanization of the game, we can go through the list. There's 2 things that are the same. And then there's people messaging in about, this just gives a chance for the Americans to come up and da-da-da. It's like, they just played in Brazil.
They don't care.
They're playing in Europe. They could give a rip about us. Our dollar is at like 42 cents. Whatever.
They're not worried about.
They can come up here and just buy it all.
Yeah.
This guy
with their MPs.
Somebody texted in. I believe the commissioner should be more involved with getting a 10th team, another Eastern team. I really think that there's got to be some sort of wheels in motion with that.
But it's a park.
He downplays it.
Is the biggest thing.
He downplays it.
Yeah.
But it has to be in motion. If we're going this hardcore, sorry, Glenn, on the changes and we're making the game more exciting, and we are going to do these changes, which we have seen how the ripple effect and the tidal wave that came, and the people on either side of this. Now, anything with expansion, it's not going to shock anybody.
No.
Yeah.
Especially if it's an American owner.
Who cares? If it's an American owner that's paying 50 cents on the dollar or whatever, go nuts.
Go nuts.
As long as there's some sort of long-term guarantee.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the thought of expansion with the 10th team in the Maritimes has been an issue for the last administration and will be for this one too, and one that they're going to work on. It's just, you can see over the first 150 days that it wasn't the priority, because this was a,
this was a priority.
This and what we saw on Monday. I mean, this, I'm sure that took up all of their time and oxygen when it came to meetings and how that would be presented and all the things. So, yeah, I don't think for a second the thought of a 10th team is going away at all. I mean,
no.
that's for a lot of reasons they want to be coast to coast in our country and the schedule and everything else. So there's that. But the one other thing about and I think your poll question goes along with this too, with the Canadian ratio, because that was to me one of my pillars. Of course, on Tuesday we talked about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
12 men, 3 downs, the final 3 minutes, and the Canadian ratio. Those are the real pillars for me. And the developmental side of giving Canadians the opportunity to become the stars and some of the best players in the game. And, we're seeing it even in the quarterback position evolve with Nathan. I think if you lose that, you are closer to the XFL than probably any other change. I mean, 4 downs would be the other one. You go 4 downs and get rid of the Canadian ratio, you're the XFL. And we know exactly what has happened with every one of those FLs in the last 30 years. Those FLs don't work.
If Vince McMahon can't make it work, and the money and the marketing power and all that,
nobody can make it work. Hey, Glenn, of all the changes and rules and otherwise, but the change to the 50-yard line being center instead of the 55-yard line, this is the one I can't go, yeah, I can totally buy in because it does this, right? That's the one change that I'm like, somebody needs to help me. What is the biggest one for that change?
Yeah, I think, Sharky, the biggest one is that when they shortened move the goalpost to the back of the end zone, part of the shortening of the field from the end zone point of view was so that a kicker doesn't have to get to the 20-yard line to make a makeable field goal. With a 20-yard end zone, that's a 47-yard kick. That's not a chip shot. So you have to get all the way to the 20. That's going to take points off the board on average. So that, in combination with the middle 10 being taken out, make it a 50-yard line. Now you've shortened the distance that the offense gets the ball on their own 30. You've shortened the distance for them to get into field goal range. So there's not quite as drastic as a drop in average scoring.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Because that's been holding me up. That's the one that I'm like,
And they want more gambles. They want more offense.
Yeah.
They want you to go, sorry, kickers.
Nobody cheers a punt.
Okay. The punter's parents do. Coffin corner.
And Barney, I've been saying this for me is, I agree on a lot of the points that Nathan made in our conversation. And I did a survey of a lot of different stakeholders over the last 48 hours. And I won't name any of them. And it's more than just the 4 teams I'm working with this weekend. And I can guarantee you one thing. The rules committee is going to be adamant about maintaining the final 3 minutes of games. This is not a 50-50, a couple of guys said this. This is 100%. Nobody wants to take away the opportunity to come back from 2 scores or get all the change of possessions in the final 3 minutes that we see to have these great finishes. So some of the people that are really worried in the speculation department, like what if they do this, what if they do that, what if the final 3 minutes isn't the same? Who knows? The rules committee will meet at the end of the year, but I will tell you that from my survey of a lot of guys that are on the rules committee, they don't want that to change at all, and that's unanimous.
Is there any chance? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
You got really angry there.
Well, I just think, and I said this to you earlier, I think the CFL had a chance to take whatever the change might be and go to U Sports or the Canadian Junior League and say, can you do this for a year and show us what the difference is going to be? Can you do this and tell us as coaches how you strategize differently for this?
What's in it for us?
Well, but, I mean, they're the development for the CFL. They want their guys to come here, right? It's an opportunity for them to get a closer relationship with the Canadian Football League and the CFL to see it happen.
I'm finding that relationship isn't that great.
Yeah,
I'm
Sharky,
just an outsider.
I honestly really wish it was that simple with regards to having that kind of partnership. I will say that when I don't believe for a second that Stuart Johnson didn't talk to the people that are involved with the movement of the goalposts, the people that would be involved with redoing fields and stripes and paint. And I heard you guys talk at length with Arash on this, and I would agree that there's no way, if there was some sort of huge roadblock like this might not happen. I mean, look, this is a big deal for Stuart Johnson too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is 150 days in, and you don't think, I don't think for a second that he is going to go, oh, you know what? At Mosaic, we can't move the post, so we'll just scrap that idea. The Canadian Football League is going to make this happen somehow in conjunction with amateur sports, junior football, college football, anyone that shares a stadium. The other ones, though, and this just, again, opinion that agreed with you guys, is that the rest of them, when you're not sharing a stadium, the rest of them, don't worry about the rules. I never played a down of Canadian football, not one snap, until I got to Saskatchewan after being drafted. Not one snap.
It must have been so difficult to comprehend.
Well, I played corner in college, Barney, so I always use the sideline to my advantage.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So I came up here and I was playing corner against scout team in my first training camp, and I looked over to the sideline and went, whoa, that is way over there.
Couldn't even see it. Where'd it go?
The weather's different over there. No. Okay, let's quickly let's go to the games this weekend. I want to start. should fans in Calgary be worried here, Glenn? What's going on? Vernon, back issues and them stumbling a bit?
Yeah, I would be. Yeah, a little bit. And here's why. I think even if Vernon Adams is cleared to play, because they're going as far as Vernon will take them. Let's be honest. If he can regain the month ago form that he had, that team can beat anybody. Now they're going to miss Flo Rimolade. That's a big loss for them on the defensive side. But when Vernon was playing that way, they could play with anybody and look like they, we were talking about them as the best team in the league at the time. So them in Saskatchewan. So I think that's important. But with what he's gone through with his concussion issues, when the medical group clears him and he feels like he's good to go, which it sounds like is going to happen, like this week, I think there's still, with concussions, there's an effect on your confidence. There's it's a little different. And I had a few in my time. But even when you're cleared and you feel healthy and you don't have any dizziness or any of the symptoms and you're ready to go play again, you get out there and you're not quite as sure as you were. You know, you're second guessing things. It just doesn't. And he looks like he's playing a little bit like that right now.
You're reluctant. You're reluctant to do that one more thing.
So you really didn't answer my question. Should Calgary fans be worried?
He did so. He said yes.
Okay, you did say yes? Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And hey, no slouch coming up in Edmonton here. Edmonton's are desperate. Desperation is a stinky cologne, as Scott Schultz says.
Well, and Edmonton has 4 Western teams to finish the season. Wow. Edmonton has Saskatchewan, of course, which I'll be doing this weekend. But then they have BC and Winnipeg and help me here. I think Calgary. Yeah. And no, they don't have Calgary. They have BC. They have 4 to finish the season. They have 4 Western opponents. I can't remember the order.
Whoever they might be. Yeah.
But yeah, well, hang on. You know what? I'm working on my charts right now. I'll tell you who they are. They play
Riders, Bombers, Lions. Stamps.
Riders, Bombers, Lions, Stamps. Thank you.
That's Coulson.
So, Coulson. So there you go. So, you know, those are the 2 points that they can get, and the 2 points the Western teams can't get or don't get if they beat. But they're going to have to run the table. I mean, Edmonton has to run the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no question. 8 or 9 wins is going to be what gets you in the playoffs.
There we go. Okay, well, travel safe this weekend. I'm sure people will want to talk to you when they see you in airports and all that. So maybe be mask guy in the airport.
Some
go back
glasses,
to mask, low hat, Glenn, and just sit in the corner of an airport, or else you're going to be bombarded the whole time. So the rule changes.
Guys, we are 3 days in now, and I haven't returned near half of the text messages and things.
So I feel special because you're returning my stupid ones.
Yeah. Hey, and any update on Bob?
Yes. Actually, just today, Bob was spotted about 2 blocks from here, so I'm fully expecting him to see him tonight.
All right.
There we go. All right, Glenn. Have a good weekend. Travel safe.
Thanks, gentlemen. Take care.
Press coverage with Glen Suitor.